Greetings, crypto family, your reliable source for understanding everything there is to know about XRP and digital banking. In order to ensure that you do not miss any of our most recent in-depth stories, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and enable notifications before we delve into the stunning developments that have occurred today. Now that we get that out of the way, let's get into it because what we are about to reveal is more significant than any prior XRP revelation, more significant than the FedNow connection, and more significant than the BRICS integration. This time around, the largest asset manager in the world, BlackRock, is joining the discourse about Bitcoin. In addition, you can bet that it is not a coincidence when a financial institution that manages more than $10 trillion begins moving chess pieces in the cryptocurrency arena. An unprecedented revelation was made by BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, according to a call with investors that was held internally and accidentally leaked just a few days ago. The company has finished an internal risk and liquidity research on XRP, and they are currently making preparations for what he referred to as strategic digital allocation and allocation. In particular, the analysis indicates that during the next 18 months, up to 15% of BlackRock's total managed assets, which is equivalent to $1.5 trillion, might be turned into products based on XRP cryptocurrency. That is greater than the gross domestic product of the majority of countries, to put that into context. However, the tone of the internal message that accompanied this discovery is what makes it even more remarkable than it already was. Not only was this a whiteboard concept, but it was also a thought experiment that was based on speculation. The 87-page private report, which is reportedly intended solely for the purpose of conducting an internal strategic allocation review, makes clear reference to XRP as the major liquidity bridge for global settlements and refers to it as the cryptocurrency equivalent of the digital gold of the 21st century. To put it another way, the very same organization that previously regarded cryptocurrency as a passing fad is now building the framework for full-scale integration, and XRP is at the center of it all. The question now is, how did we arrive here? For the purpose of comprehending BlackRock's master strategy, it is necessary to examine the digital asset trials that they conducted in the past. Remember the drama around the Bitcoin exchange-traded fund? When the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, eventually gave its approval to BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, it set off one of the most significant institutional domino effects in the history of finance. Just like that, Wall Street went from making fun of cryptocurrency to actually controlling it. During the course of just a few weeks, that ETF alone brought in billions of dollars, legitimizing Bitcoin for pension funds and retirement assets. On the other hand, analysts working for BlackRock quickly saw a problem with that success story. Although Bitcoin was the most dominant cryptocurrency on the market, it was not an efficient asset for settlement. Due to its slowness, high energy consumption, and high volatility, it was not suitable for use as a bridge currency. Here comes XRP. A direct comparison between the digital gold narrative of Bitcoin and the real-world utility of XRP is outlined in the document that was leaked via the internet. It would appear that the analysts at BlackRock came to the conclusion that although Bitcoin is useful as a store of wealth, XRP is superior because it provides the exceptional mix of speed, scalability, and compliance-ready infrastructure that is required to serve as the foundation for fast, institutional-grade settlements. The modeling section of the report covers a number of stress tests that are performed on the XRP ledger. In conclusion, it is possible that it may theoretically support global liquidity flows of up to $5 quadrillion yearly. The answer is yes, quadrillion with a Q, and there is no congestion or major financial impact. The situation is about to become much more exciting at this point. Within a few days of the publication of this internal assessment, blockchain tracking companies started observing big, anonymous wallet movements as well as massive inflows of XRP that could not be traced back to retail exchanges. The transactional patterns that we observed right prior to BlackRock's filing for a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, ETF, were matched by these wallets, which are frequently associated with whale accumulation. That is to say, institutional wallets are stealthily accumulating XRP behind the scenes all the while remaining silent. There is a possibility that this is in preparation for a significant disclosure event, and it is not just BlackRock. There are rumors circulating in the industry that both Vanguard and Fidelity, two of BlackRock's most formidable rivals, are also doing internal pilot programs that investigate settlement rails that are based on XRP. A follow-the-leader mindset is described by sources who are familiar with the digital strategy departments of major companies. This describes a situation in which no one wants to be the last institution to embrace tokenized liquidity. Give some thought to what that implies. The supply shock alone has the potential to push the price of XRP into the stratosphere if the top 3 asset managers in the world all started allocating to XRP. Now, let's take a more in-depth look at the mathematical reasoning behind this. The total circulating supply of XRP remains around 50 billion tokens, which would imply a baseline price of approximately $20,000 per XRP if all of that capital were directly exposed. BlackRock manages approximately $10 trillion in assets, and if they convert even 10% of that into XRP, that would be equivalent to $1 trillion. Naturally, not all of that capital would be purchased on the spot. Rather, a significant portion of it would be tokenized through the use of derivative instruments or liquidity pools that are held in custody. In spite of this, even a fractional implementation has the potential to propel XRP into the 5-digit area, which is in line with Larry Fink's internal forecast that the price of each token will reach $10,000 over the next 18 months. First things first, before anyone writes this off as nothing more than pure guesswork, let's take a look at the underlying infrastructure that is already being constructed right in front of our eyes. Ripple secretly formed partnerships with a number of liquidity providers in New York, London, and Tokyo at the beginning of the year 2025. Many of these liquidity providers already had connections to BlackRock's custodial network. The overlap in question is not a coincidence. It is a sign that a concerted effort is being made to align the on-demand liquidity capabilities of the XRP ledger with the infrastructure developed for institutional use. Additionally, it is important to note that the timing coincides perfectly with the internal rollout schedule that was stated in the paper that was leaked public. An additional significant element from the document discloses something that is very astounding. According to reports, the Digital Strategy Division of BlackRock is working on a blockchain liquidity framework that they are calling Project Helios. This framework is intended to incorporate tokenized real-world assets directly into the XRP ledger. Imagine every bond, stock, and real estate asset being tokenized and immediately transferable through the native ledger mechanics of XRP. This is a tremendous idea. BlackRock anticipates a future in which the amount of time required for settlements will decrease from T+2 days to T+0 inches. Simply put, there are no intermediaries, no friction, and only pure programmable liquidity. If you want to comprehend the significance of this, you should think back to what Larry Fink himself stated in an interview just a few months ago. The tokenization of securities might be considered the next generation of markets and the next revolution in the financial industry. The question of which ledger would be used to power that tokenization is something that he did not comment on publicly but appears to have confirmed in private. The document that was leaked provides a definitive response to that question. It is the XRP ledger. It lauds Ripple for its demonstrated interoperability, its development in regulatory compliance, and its conformity with the communication standards established by ISO 20022. This format is the same one that is utilized by worldwide payment systems and central banks, such as SWIFT and FedNow. In reference to central banks, this is the point at which everything comes together. If you have been keeping up with the latest happenings from the Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, and the BRICS nations, you would have seen a pattern that is gradually converging. Global financial institutions are gradually changing their cross-border liquidity strategies toward interoperable digital ledgers. The strategic shift that BlackRock is making toward XRP has the potential to be the trigger that bridges the gap between Wall Street and this new financial architecture. To put it another way, BlackRock is not simply investing in a token, rather, they are placing their funds on the foundation of a brand new